So it looks like Biden just gave the big middle finger to all you Bernie bros and socialist progressive Democrats out there. Let's get into it. As always, want to welcome everyone to my channel. This is Bruce the Boss Brooks coming at you. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and little notification bell so you get notified of my content as I'm putting it out daily. And subscribing greatly helps this channel, this new channel, grow. Appreciate you. And if you're not new, returning, again, want to say welcome back. So I don't know if you've heard this, but just recently Joe Biden was trying to appeal to the voters in Wisconsin when he said this.
I beat the socialists. That's how I got elected. That's how I got the nomination. Do I look like a socialist? Look at my career, my whole career. I am not a socialist.
If that wasn't the biggest FU to all of the Bernie supporters out there, AOC supporters, all of those who brought into the socialist or democratic socialist movement, I don't know what is. They're essentially telling you to just shut up, fall in line. We don't care anything about your policies. Now, when AOC said this at the Democratic National Convention about a month ago,
for our country and our world, in fidelity and gratitude to a mass people's movement working to establish 21st century social, economic, and human rights, including guaranteed health care, higher education, living wages, and labor rights for all people in the United States. A movement striving to recognize and repair the wounds of racial injustice, colonization, misogyny, and homophobia, and to propose and build reimagined systems of immigration and foreign policy that turn away from the violence and xenophobia of our past. A movement that realizes the unsustainable brutality of an economy that rewards explosive inequalities of wealth for the few at the expense of long-term stability for the many, and who organized a historic grassroots campaign to reclaim our democracy. In a time when millions of people in the United States are looking for deep, systemic solutions to our crises of mass evictions, unemployment, and lack of health care, in el espíritu del pueblo and out of a love for all people, I hereby second the nomination of Senator Bernard Sanders of Vermont for President of the United States of America.
from the mouth of Joe Biden, she wasn't lying that is not Joe Biden. Any of the policy positions that you supported, because we have to admit, in 2015, there began a huge populist movement on both parties, because Donald Trump is not a true conservative Republican. He's not a conservative. And Bernie Sanders is not a true Democrat. He's been an independent his entire political life, which spans my lifetime at the very least, 30 plus odd years, 40 years. He's been an independent socialist who only joined the Democratic Party to use their larger platform to push his socialist agenda. That is not the agenda of the Democratic establishment. People wanted radical change. They wanted something different than politics as usual, something different than the simple moderate perspective. Not your classic liberal, not your classic conservative. People who felt screwed by the system, by the way things were done. Things were unfairly rigged against them, that the politicians and the liberal elite or conservative elite just are not hearing them. Donald Trump spoke to his progressive base, and Bernie Sanders spoke to his. And what did the Democratic National Convention do, or the DNC do? They did everything in their power in 2016 to rig the election against him in favor of Hillary Clinton, and just expected the Bernie bros to fall in line. And then they did the same thing in this election, rigging it against Bernie Sanders, by putting in Elizabeth Warren to split his vote, cheating in Iowa with that mysterious blackout during the caucus to make sure Pete Buttigieg got the win, and still also managed to finesse the system in such a way during the New Hampshire primary that despite Bernie Sanders winning the popular vote in New Hampshire, he didn't win the electoral votes. Somehow Pete, again, screwed him out of the electoral win. So once Bernie Sanders lost his path to victory through votes, the electoral votes, it was over, and they were able to get everyone out of the race and fall behind Joe Biden. Joe Biden did not beat the socialists. The system beat the socialists. They're trying to beat you into submission. But if you care about any of the following policies, like universal health care, Medicare for all, if you care about more, so I know one of the policy positions is a living wage, higher federal minimum wage, whatever that means. I may not necessarily agree with that policy and or how that can be enacted and how that'll work, but that's, I know, very important for them. Free college. At the most, Joe Biden is talking about making 2-year colleges more affordable, if not free. But many of Bernie's supporters want 4-year universities to be paid for. They want their student loan debt to be forgiven. They also want a new way of dealing with foreign policy. Joe Biden isn't about changing the foreign policy. He's been for all of the regime change wars we've had over the last 30 years. He was a big supporter of the Iraq War, both of them. And, the Gulf War, the war in Iraq, war in Afghanistan. He was with Obama right there during their invasion of the country Libya. He didn't oppose to that. And he wouldn't oppose to any future foreign engagements right now based upon his track record, even if he's not mentally all there. A Biden-Harris win would be the death knell to the socialist progressive movement in the Democratic Party. Why? They've already beaten you into submission before. They've shown back in 2016 they don't want your vote, they don't need it. Well, they expect you to fall in line without them giving you anything for it. Have they added any of the policy positions I previously mentioned regarding Medicare for all, erasing student debt, free college, ending foreign wars, raising the federal minimum wage to a living wage is? No, they haven't added any of those to the platform. And they don't feel as though they need to. Not a single one. They just expect you to fall in line. If they can show that they can win the election without reaching out to you at all, what makes you think they're going to actually do it again in 2024 when they think they already have a proven winning formula? So for me, that just kills a lot of whatever excitement that there was for Joe Biden, because a lot of the people who were legitimately excited for Bernie Sanders, for the policy positions. I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends in Philly who were legitimately excited about Bernie Sanders. Things he was saying was speaking to them. And you're not appealing to any of that. You're not exciting that base. You just killed it. You said, I'm not for you, never was, never will be. At least with a Trump win, I would say, and I am not endorsing Trump, by the way. This is not an endorsement of Trump. I'm looking at it logically speaking. If Biden were to lose 2020 and Trump were to win, that would give a message to the Democratic Party, to the DNC. Holy crap, we cannot afford to alienate the progressives any longer. We need their cooperation. We need their excitement. We need their vote. We can't just say vote blue, vote blue all the way. No, vote blue no matter who. We have to include their policy positions on our platform. We have to include them in the table. We have to give them a voice if we want to win. And they would have no choice but to acquiesce to that, maybe push for Elizabeth Warren harder in 2024, make her their golden child, as opposed to whomever else they prop up, or at the very least make her a VP pick and put, again, some of the policy positions on the platform. Because again, with a Biden-Harris win, it'll show what they've been doing up till now works, that they don't need to add you to the conversation, to the platform. And you would be screwed out of the situation, out of the ticket until 2032. because if Biden won, Harris would naturally be the presidential pick for 2024, has a greater chance of winning it so long as he has a somewhat successful candidacy, and if there's no other charismatic candidate on the GOP side to run against her, she'll likely get it in 2024 and reelected in 2028. And you would have to wait until 2032. Are you willing to wait that long to have your policy positions at least considered? And there's no guarantee that they'll even give in. There's a good chance that a lot of those people would no longer be in power, and more progressives would have positions of power and or voices. But that's a gamble. Is that a gamble you're willing to take? I want to know what your thoughts are, what your comments are. Leave the comments down below. Don't forget to hit the like button. And if you do agree and want to help get this conversation out there, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. As always, I want to thank you for visiting my channel. This is Bruce the Boss Brooks, and I'm out.